Hey everybody, it's Kathy Braxton from Improv for Caregivers. I'm back again with the same hair thing up because, it's still nighttime and I'm doing one more video. This time I'm going to talk a little bit more in depth about sleep. I was informed that people like more information than less, so I'm going to do this one again. Okay, so here's this thing. It's called the glymphatic system. It's really, really interesting, and now you're going to sound really smart when you talk to your friends. And I talk about this in specific terms in regards to dementia. So, but this applies to you as well. It applies to all of us. So we have a system in our brain called the glymphatic system. And what it does is its intention is to clear out all of our garbage, essentially, that we've accumulated through the day. So all the visual information, auditory information, the books that we've read, the things that we've done with people, whatever. We've collected all that through the day. The system called the glymphatic system turns on at night only when we sleep. Only when we sleep. And its job specifically is to basically dump out your garbage can of stuff, right? It might take a few things here and there and store them in long-term memory or short-term memory, maybe in space where you might need to recall it later. But for the majority of the stuff that you've experienced today, you don't need it anymore. And so that system's job is to toss it, right? So how does that happen? Well, you have to get into a specific state of sleep. And that specific state of sleep can only be accomplished through the natural state of sleep. It does not, the system does not turn on necessarily as well or as effectively if we are sleeping under, say, the guise of a sedative. So most medications, if not all of those that are out there that are labeled to help somebody with sleep, actually just are sedatives. They sedate you. So we peek in on mom, her eyes are closed, she looks like she's resting, but it may be because we gave her some trazodone. No judgment to anyone who's using medications to help anyone get some rest, because as a caregiver, you need to sleep when they're sleeping. But just so you know, there are no meds out there in the market that initiate a natural state of sleep, which means we have to do a lot of our own work to take care of that and make sure that happens for us. So now we're in a natural state of sleep. We haven't had any medications to help us. We're taking a nice nap, like we're taking maybe an hour and a half long nap. Those are good, right? We get into this stage of sleep. We go from stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, down to 2, and then out at 1. I do it up so you can see it on the screen. Kind of down, just doesn't work for me. Anyway, right? You're going to go up into these stages, not necessarily. Anyway, so it's when you're in that stage 2, stage 3, right, that the system clicks on, goes in, takes all that stuff from the day, dumps it out, right, sorts it out, and essentially empties your garbage can. Now, if you have ever fallen asleep but woken up at about the 60-minute mark, you may have noticed yourself feeling really, really groggy. And if you've ever had a nap where you wake up more groggy than you did before you took the nap, what you can gather from that is that you went through stage 1 and stage 2, and you started to go into stage 3, that REM sleep, but you were ripped out, either because you set yourself an alarm or someone came and woke you up after that 1 hour mark. So when you get ripped out of that stage of sleep, you become groggy. Many older adults get ripped out at that stage of sleep and aren't able to go through that entire wave, that whole cycle, and come out at stage 1 again. That ripping out is incredibly disruptive. So that glymphatic system, if it's getting turned on, it's not staying on long enough, if at all. So that's the key. If it's on, it's not really working for very long, if at all. Okay. This happens a lot in long-term care facilities or even in home environments where we're not being very respectful of other people's sleep environments. So again, please, with the lighting and the sound, and tell people to stop, right? Like really. So that's what you have to think about. Now, people need to go through that system of being turned on, that glymphatic system being turned on several times through the night. That's why typically people sleep for about an hour and a half. They wake up, they look at the clock, and they turn over and they go to sleep for another hour and a half. That's literally you going through that system, kind of waking up, okay, I have 4 more hours I can sleep, and being able to fall right back asleep. You're going through that again and again and again. Now, the first 2 times that system gets turned on, the garbage can that it's clearing out, essentially what it's doing is kind of cleaning out and cleansing the cells of the muscles and the bones, more of the physicality of your body. The next 2 times, so let's say you go to bed at 10, it's maybe the 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. when your system is on, that garbage can that's being emptied is working on the cognitive, the mood. And so this is the other thing. If someone's only getting 4 hours of sleep, and you do the math and you do a 90-minute into 4 hours, what they're really only doing is getting into that system and letting that system work maybe twice, maybe 3 times. It's not enough time for that system to do its full function. Okay. So that's why people who do say, oh, I can operate on 4 hours of sleep, no problem. They are operating from a sleep debt. I can guarantee it. And it is incredibly difficult, and you will never really truly be able to pay it back. Okay. So here's mom. She got maybe 3.5 hours of good sleep where she wasn't woken up by her bladder waking her up, or maybe the dog barking, or someone turning on lights, or a nurse walking in and giving her meds, right? So she got through maybe 2 nice solid waves, and her system turned on a couple times. What is happening now at 6 or 7 a.m. when we're waking up mom, or she's waking up, and we're saying, hey, it's breakfast time, right? You got to kind of be on our schedule. She's waking up with her garbage can still half full from yesterday's junk. Whereas you and I hopefully have gotten a decent 7 hours of sleep. We wake up with a garbage can that's completely empty. We're ready to take on information and input from the day. But mom, who did not, she's got half that garbage can already full. So it's not going to take much for her before that garbage can starts to get to the top and then overflow. And when do we see that overflow start to happen? You named it, 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, right? Which is why I truly believe sleep and sleep deprivation is the key to sundowning. But that topic is, I think, actually probably pretty correct. You know, it's related to the circadian rhythm, and the circadian rhythm is based on how we sleep and where we are in our sleep patterns. But be mindful of the fact that it's an actual system in your brain, and we need to give that system enough time to work, and we need to do it in a way and create the environment for someone where that system is going to do everything it possibly can to let that person wake up with as little trash in their can for the next day as possible. We want to be able to give them as much help as they possibly can, because we push our family members to get through the day. So much sensory input and so little ability often to filter it themselves through the day, that sleep is even more important, because if they aren't cognitively aware and able to filter out the junk that they're getting at them all day, right? The Jerry Springer show, the argument happening with the neighbor. Why is he wearing that? I don't need to know any of that. I can push it away. A lot of times persons with dementia cannot filter that out when they're awake. So they need that extra time to sleep to filter that trash. So be mindful. A good pattern, first, second, third, back out to 2, down to 1. That's that pattern of sleep takes an hour and a half, 90 minutes. So if you're going to nap or have mom nap, let her go for maybe 45 minutes, right? Don't go an hour. That's when you're starting to rip people out at that specific time, kind of tricky spot. Or let them go a full hour and a half. It's okay to nap, because most likely all of us have, in some way, have a sleep debt we have not paid back. So it's okay to nap. I would say an hour and a half is great. If you go 3 hours, you may find someone pushing off their bedtime, which might be hard for the caregiver to handle. So that's your information about the glymphatic system, simply, and how it works, and why it works, and why it's important for us as the caregivers to be mindful of that system and giving our loved ones as much of an advantage as possible, because they're already at such a disadvantage. I hope this has helped, and I'll have a link to my Reddit account, my email, and an original post in the description. You can reach out to me at r/dementia on Reddit, or you can email me with any questions at improv4, the number 4, caregivers@gmail.com. and push questions into Reddit for me. I would love, love, love to answer more stuff. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night's sleep.